The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. F&M leader Michael Pintard says the GBPA is the electricity regulator for Grand Bahama, or at least the port area. But the F&M leader says he's against a rate increase for the power company. Works Minister Sweeting assuring Luther utility issues will be addressed. And UK investigators not in town yet for that police probe. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, August 15th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll get a preview of the end of summer block party. It's going to be happening this weekend at Nassau Cruise Port. And later in business, we're talking with Maison Bahamas about the Windsor Lakes Open House. And a whole lot more in business. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping at the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, while stressing that the opposition is against the proposed rate increase for electricity on Grand Bahama, opposition leader Michael Pintard disagreeing with the government's assertion that ERCA, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, is the regulator for the island's energy sector. Pintard says the F&M supports the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, which sets out the scope for the Grand Bahama Port Authority's powers in Freeport. Pintard saying, quote, the government, if it is minded to change the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement, knows the process by which it ought to go through, and we would be more than happy to sit with the government and look at potential changes that are necessary for the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement. But the way the administration is approaching it, we are on record as saying that the approach that they are taking is a bad approach in terms of the public row, the threats, and the type of them. Pintard was contacted by the Nassau Guardian to comment on the latest row between the Davis administration and the GBPA. That row ignited last week after an announcement from the Grand Bahama Power Company that it had submitted an application to GBPA for a 6.3% increase in the base rate for electricity. The government said the application should have been submitted to ERCA, the sole regulator for electricity in the country, adding that it does not support an increase in electricity rates in Grand Bahama at this time. The Davis administration cited the Electricity Act of 2024, which established ERCA as the independent overseer for the generation, transmission, distribution, and supply of electricity for the entire country. Well, Pintard says, given the challenges, that this is not an appropriate time to consider a rate increase at all. He accused the Davis administration of playing politics over the issue. He said the government has no moral authority to stand on when it comes to the price consumers are paying for electricity, outlining what he says are missteps the Davis administration has taken in regards to BPL, which provides power to areas outside of the country, outside of Grand Bahama. Central and South Lutheran MP Clay Sweeting assuring that the government is working to address Lutherans' concerns over the state of utilities on that island, noting residents are justified in their frustration. While Sweeting is also Minister of Works, he is saying that and water issues do not fall within his remit. However, he says they have to ensure that the people in Lutheran get what they deserve. Sweeting says the government has been working on that island since coming into office, but some of the challenges are a result of unlucky timing. The investigators from the United Kingdom, who will oversee aspects of the force's probe into Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson, have not yet arrived in the Bahamas. Investigators were scheduled to arrive yesterday. Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez said investigators were set to arrive on the 14th and leave on the 17th of this month. The NASA Guardian, though, has been told that the investigators should arrive later this week. Johnson, who headed the Criminal Investigation Department, was placed on leave last month after explosive audio recordings were leaked on social media. Fernandez previously said the UK National Crime Agency will aid in the investigation. A man denying having a sexual relationship with an armed robbery and attempted murder victim. A Supreme Court jury hearing the testimony yesterday. 24-year-old Alvins Alain is accused of robbing Jamal Ferguson at gunpoint and shooting him after they went out for drinks in April of 2022. Alain allegedly then torched the stolen Honda Civic that was abandoned in a vacant lot. Alain, who's in custody, has denied the allegations at his trial. During his interview with Sergeant Angela Johnson, he admitted that he knew Ferguson but denied that they had a sexual relationship. Alain said that he met Ferguson when Ferguson sent him a message on Facebook. Alain, if he had asked Ferguson to pick him up on Bar 20 Corner, Alain denied this. You can read more about this trial in today's NASA Guardian. And WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has determined that the upsurge of Mpox in the Democratic Republic of Congo and a growing number of countries in Africa constitutes a public health emergency of international concern under the international health regulations. Dr. Tedros' declaration coming on the advice of an IHR emergency committee of independent experts who met earlier this week to review data presented by experts from WHO and affected countries. The committee informed the Director General that it considers the upsurge of Mpox to be a public health emergency of international concern, with the potential to spread further across countries in Africa and possibly outside the continent. More from overseas, more than 40,000 Palestinians have been killed in the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, according to the territory's health ministry, releasing that information today. Israel's offensive has 2,401 people and displaced over 85% of the population from their homes. It does not, the ministry does not distinguish between civilians and militants in its toll. And this is the ministry in Hamas-run Gaza. The announcement coming during yet another push from international mediators to broker a ceasefire in the war, now in its 11th month. The conflict began October 7th after Hamas-led militants attacked southern Israel, killing some 1,200 people, most of them civilians, and dragging roughly 250 hostages to Gaza. Israel says 111 of the captives have not been released, including the bodies of 39. The hostages include 15 women and 2 children under the age of 5. And a Ukrainian drone attack on Russian air bases damaged at least 2 hangars and other areas, according to satellite images analyzed by the Associated Press. Images taken Wednesday by Planet Labs PBC, analyzed by the Associated Press, show that 2 hangars at an airbase had been struck, with a field of debris seen across both. It was not immediately clear what purpose the hangars served. There are also appear to be damage potentially done to 2 fighter aircraft at the base. Separately, at another base, one burn mark could be seen on the apron in images Wednesday, though there was no apparent damage visible to the fighter jets and other aircraft. Russia also declaring a federal-level state of emergency in the Belgorod region. A regional-level state of emergency has been declared a day earlier in Belgorod, and the change in status suggests officials believe the situation is worsening and hampering the region's ability to deliver aid. President Nicolas Maduro's contested claim of victory in last month's election not only threw Venezuela into uncertainty, but also spread anxiety from neighboring Colombia to faraway Chile as the region braces for a new migration surge. Over the past decade, since Maduro became president, the United Nations estimates that a staggering 7.7 million Venezuelans have fled as the economy collapsed, sneaking across porous borders and crowding into nearby countries that increasingly fear they cannot accommodate another mass exodus. Now, as the crisis over Maduro's widely disputed re-election raises the specter of a deeper global isolation in Caracas, pollsters, politicians, and members of the diaspora warn that more Venezuelans are packing their bags. And Hurricane Ernesto dropping torrential rain on Puerto Rico and knocking out power for nearly half of all customers in the U.S. territory as it threatened to strengthen into a major hurricane on its way to Bermuda. A hurricane watch now up for Bermuda, where tropical storm conditions were possible by Friday and hurricane conditions possible by Saturday. Tropical storm warnings have been discontinued now for Puerto Rico and its outlying islands, and for the U.S. and British Virgin Islands after the storm passes. An island-wide blackout reported on St. Croix, and at least 6 cell phone towers were offline across the U.S. territory. Schools and government agencies closed in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, where heavy flooding is reported in several areas, forcing officials to block roads. More than 140 flights have been canceled to and from Puerto Rico. Flash flood warnings were made up because of continuing rain. Ernesto, now a Category 1 hurricane, gradually strengthening, could become a Category 3 hurricane by Friday. Its center expected to pass near Bermuda on Saturday. Between 3 to 6 inches of rain forecast, with more possible in isolated places. In sports, the 28th edition of the Goodwill Swimming Championship set to take place August 16th through 18th in St. Lucia. This year's event will be the largest ever, hosted by the country's Aquatics Federation, featuring about 300 swimmers from 10 different territories. Participating teams include the 2023 hosts, Jamaica, defending champions, the Bahamas, 2022 winners, Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Curacao, Grenada, Suriname, and the Turks and Caicos. Notably absent for the third consecutive year is Guyana, a founding member of the Goodwill Swimming Championships. The Goodwill Swimming Championships, an annual age group swimming tournament designed for select countries. The competition aims to provide exposure and development opportunities for younger and less experienced swimmers. And the Bahamas Chinese Dragon Boat Association announcing the 3rd annual Bahamas Dragon Boat Festival that's set to take place October 12th through 13th at Goodman's Bay. Read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. For Major League Baseball, Aaron Judge, noticing his teammates dancing in the bullpen as he rounded first, he got quite the reception when he crossed the plate too. Not only did he hit his 300th homer, the New York Yankees slugger reached that milestone faster than any other player when he connected against the Chicago White Sox during a 10-2 victory Wednesday night. Judge saying, quote, "It's a great achievement. I was hoping it would come with a win. It came in a big win for us. We were down for a little, couldn't get much going, so I was just excited who was there in a big moment." Judge hit the mark in his 955th game and 3,431st at-bat with a 3-run drive in the 8th inning. The 6-time All-Star and 2022 American League MVP drove a 3-0 up and in sinker from Chad Kuhl into the White Sox bullpen and left for his Major League leading 43rd homer. The Yankees let loose as the ball cleared the wall, jumping up and raising their arms and banging the dugout railing. After the game, Judge top of water. And from soccer, a goal and a trophy. And an amazing debut for Kylian Mbappe for Real Madrid. The France captain pulled on the famous white jersey of the Spanish champions for the first time in a competitive match and marked the occasion with a second goal and a 2-0 win over Atlanta in the UEFA Super Cup Wednesday. Mbappe, who started and played 82 minutes at the National Stadium in Warsaw, met a pass by Jude Bellingham across the area with a shot into the top corner in the 68th minute. After putting both arms across his chest for his trademark celebration, Mbappe was congratulated by other members of Madrid's star-studded strike force that might be sending tremors around the European Soccer League heading into the new season. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, hazardous marine conditions will continue along Atlantic exposures due to the presence of large easterly swells generated by Hurricane Ernesto out in the Atlantic, which will pass east of the Bahamas. Meanwhile, a lingering trough near the extreme northwestern islands will continue to spark shower and thunderstorm activity over portions of the northwestern Bahamas. Still have a heat advisory in effect for the entire country, and UV indices will range from high to extreme. Everyone's being advised to remain hydrated, limit outdoor activities, wear loose-fitting clothing and sunscreen, and seek shaded areas when and where possible. There's also a moderate risk of waterspout activity across the northwestern islands. Boaters and beachgoers should avoid Atlantic waters due to dangerous large easterly swells. And everyone's being advised against traveling along Atlantic exposed coastlines and eastern coastal roads due to the presence of those large swells resulting in overtopping waves, coastal inundation, and sea spray, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, your forecast calls for partly cloudy, hot and humid conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated afternoon thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas through tonight. Expect a few stray showers across the central islands. Boaters, again, strongly advised to avoid entering Atlantic waters. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Winds variable at 10 knots or less, becoming north to northeast this afternoon across the extreme northern islands. Seas 3 feet or less on the banks and in sheltered areas, but up to 11 feet across Atlantic exposures and eastern shorelines and large, dangerous easterly swells. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, breezy, and a bit hazy with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. Boaters strongly urged to remain in port. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. Winds north to northeast at 15 to 25 knots with higher gusts. Winds backing northwest to west by mid-Thursday morning. Seas 8 to 12 feet along Atlantic exposures and eastern shorelines and large, dangerous easterly swells. Temperatures today get up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Currently in Nassau, it's about 80 degrees, 79 in Freeport. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It is time for break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It's a Scotia Plan Loan Summer. With Scotiabank, you can chase your summer vacation, swing into your home renovation, and slide on back to school with ease. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan and benefit from competitive rates next months. Tick off your to-do list this summer and apply for a Scotia Plan loan today.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
RBC
is good for all of you.
Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision,
is good for all of you.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
Your health just got brighter with Lamp Insured. Sign up for Doctors Hospital's Lamp Insurance Supplement Plan and enjoy copay waivers and complete access with no upfront ER or inpatient collections. Only $30 per month. Visit doctorshosp.com/lamp to sign up or contact 242-822-1009. That's 242-822-1009. Your journey to affordable and worry-free healthcare begins now.
Looking for great device deals and offers this summer? Look no further. Alive has special discounts on the latest smartphones, Ring devices, and accessories. Plus, as an Alive customer, you can expect exclusive yet extra offers and rewards, which means even more value for your money. We're talking more data, prizes, and surprises. Upgrade with us and experience the perfect summer with Alive in store or at bealive.com/deals.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne Gardner in Grand Bahama. Good morning.
Morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Hope all's well with you.
Yes.
You sound very excited to be here. I appreciate it.
I'm always excited to be here
we can
on
tell.
Thursday morning.
That's great. I am excited to have you here with us. We have a lot to talk about this morning. There's a lot going on in the news. But also this morning, we are going to talk with the Nassau Cruise Port. They've got an end-of-summer block party this weekend. They're going to tell us all about that. And then later, there's an open house this weekend for Windsor Lakes. And we'll get details about that as well. In business, that's coming up. So that's ahead. But let's talk about what else is in the news. In the news, lots of interesting stories in the Nassau Guardian. They were scheduled to be here yesterday, Laverne, but apparently the Nassau Guardians learned they haven't reached yet. Maybe later in the week. And, they're only supposed to be here for a few days. They're supposed to come in on the 14th.
Later in what week? I'm just saying, later next week because it's Thursday.
Well, some still count
Tomorrow?
Saturday as this week.
Saturday?
Although others think it's but so it could be still tomorrow, Friday, maybe but so they were scheduled to be here yesterday and only until the 17th, which is very soon. So now what is the timeline looking like? We're not sure.
Is the timeline going to be adjusted?
Or they still leave on the 17th. I don't know. But this is not a funny story at all. This is, but this is, boy, I tell you. Anyway, we'll keep you posted. And Clay Sweeting, the Central and South Eleuthera MP, who is the Minister of Works, he's assuring Eleuthera residents that the utility issues are being addressed. And he says in today's Nassau Guardian, in a story written by Rachel Scott, that, quote, people in Eleuthera are upset, but this is a legacy issue. As a member of Parliament, it's important that we get these issues resolved as soon as possible, and the ministers and the government will get it done. It isn't a matter of if, we have to. We deserve reliable utilities. Now, as I said, he is Minister of Works, but he doesn't necessarily have under his portfolio, electricity and water don't fall under him. But he says they have to ensure that the people in Eleuthera get what they deserve. He says, quote, the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Water and Sewerage have both committed to ensuring that these issues are resolved as soon as possible. They put out a detailed synopsis in regards to energy of when the new generation would be in Eleuthera. And WSC, Water and Sewerage Corporation, just put out a tender for Governor's Harbor to ensure that capacity. He says with the roadworks in Eleuthera, part of that component is new water supply piping, which would help to alleviate some of the issues that currently exist in Eleuthera. And he says the government has been working since coming to office to deal with these issues, but a lot of the challenges are a result of unlucky timing. He said, quote, when we look at Eleuthera has already been approved for a solarized project that the cabinet has approved that will compensate for some of the power generation that needs to be done. BPL has 3 trucks on the ground now that are operating that weren't there prior to us taking office. But But at the same time, when we speak about this, if a person's lights are off, it doesn't comfort them at that time. Okay. Well, I think it's been well publicized. Luther has been experiencing excessive power and water outages for months. Harbor Island residents protested on Monday against consistent interruptions to the electricity and water supplies. And we heard people on the protest say cable and internet issues are also part of this. So all the utilities are challenged in Eleuthera. And I'm sure it's not the only island. Water Corporation said that it was working to address the problems. It said that, quote, the combination of aging, very fragile public infrastructure systems, challenging water production, contractual arrangements, and the rapid increase in the demand for water supply post-COVID-19 has severely impacted the reliability of our water supply systems across Eleuthera. The corporation, with the support of the government, is now working assiduously to address these many challenges step by step. The reality, however, is that while some works have been completed, substantial works are now in progress, and further works are being defined to eliminate any weak linkages in our water production, storage, transmission, and distribution systems. Residents in some parts of Eleuthera have experienced some incremental improvements already, and further incremental improvements will continue across the island as these various works are completed and commissioned. Well, we'll see how this goes. But that's the official stance and statements there from most of the parties involved. So let's get your reaction to that and to the UK investigators before we get on to the big story of the day involving Laverne's Grand Bahama. But 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Again, standard text rates apply. All right. This text is asking, there's a minister for water and sewage? Yes. I think it's Lundy, right? It falls under him and the office of the prime minister. So, state minister, I guess. But anyway, it falls under him in the office of the prime minister. Good morning, caller, on the air.
Dwight Strachan, pick a side.
Dave again. Pick a side of what? What does that mean? What side? I'm on the side of the Bahamian people.
Let's just keep going. We're not even going to...
What side? I have to be a political person? FNM or PLP is never going to happen. So I don't know what you want.
Right.
He said, though, Laverne, because the people of this country need to get it together. You don't need to be affiliated with any party. Be on the side of the Bahamian people, right? I don't know where you got this from. This is madness. And if they were better defined, the two of them, then maybe you could pick a side. But what side is he talking about? And if he's talking about Grand Bahama, which we'll get to, both sides are wrong about everything. Maybe not about who's the regulator, but just on the vision and the direction it should be going. There's no way this is anything that's been proposed or that is happening right now will continue to work. And I think that's very clear. But the people of this country are too afraid to go in the direction of what is needed to fix the place. That's the side I'm on there. Let's hope we have some better calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Golly day to Strachan voice along with you and Laverne Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
You know, Dwight, those people that are in, high places in government, they need to just leave the job, let everything go, so we could make it better than we having it. All we are hearing is split talk from all of them. Those that in authority, of course. And people tired, people tired. And so people need to make them to realize that we are tired of their foolishness. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I'm tired, too. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Call us back. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Laverne, you ever been banned from something and kept going back even though you were banned?
Oh, to answer the first part of that question, no, I've never been banned from anything. But certainly if I was, I wouldn't keep going back because I've been banned.
Yeah. You're very smart.
That's how that works.
You're a very smart person. Thank you. Okay, so let's get to the big story in the NASA Guardian today. Pintard, GBPA is electricity regulator. Oh, boy. But the FNM leader says he's against a rate increase for the power company. Artenika Thompson writing about it today. While stressing that the opposition is against the proposed rate increase for electricity on Grand Bahama, opposition leader Michael Pintard yesterday disagreed with the government's assertion that ERCA, the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, is the regulator for the island's energy sector. Pintard says the FNM supports the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which sets out the scope of the Grand Bahama Port Authority's powers in Freeport. Before we read on, Laverne, would you say as a Grand Bahamian that you support the Hawksbill Creek Agreement?
I would say support it. It's what we live by, but I don't necessarily know if I support it.
Interesting words. Pintard says, quote, the government, if it is minded to change the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, knows the process by which it ought to go through, and we would be more than happy to sit with the government and look at potential changes necessary for the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. But the way the administration is approaching it, we are on record as saying that the approach that they are taking is a bad approach in terms of the public row, the threats, and the back and forth by both of them. He was contacted by the Nassau Guardian to comment on the latest row between the Davis administration and the GBPA, ignited last week after an announcement from the Grand Bahama Power Company that it had submitted an application to the GBPA for a 6.3% increase in the base rate for electricity. The government, as you know, says the application should have been submitted to ERCA, the sole regulator for electricity in the country, adding that it does not support an increase in electricity rates at this time for Grand Bahama. The Davis administration citing the Electricity Act 2024, which established ERCA as the independent overseer for the generation, transmission, distribution, and supply of electricity for the entire country, and the electricity law passed by Parliament in May without the support of FNM MPs. Now, Laverne, of course, you know the GBPA operates Freeport under special powers conferred by the HCA, the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, which was signed in 1955 to establish Freeport as a free trade zone on Grand Bahama to foster economic development. And the GBPA has said the HCA defines its role as the sole exclusive licensor and regulator for all utilities in the port area. With legal action underway in the Supreme Court regarding the GBPA's rights under the HCA, Pintard said the government, quote, sought to circumvent a court's determination by putting in place new electricity legislation. Still, given the challenges residents are facing in Grand Bahama, Pintard said this is not the appropriate time to consider a rate increase. He accused the Davis administration of playing politics over the issue. He said the government has no moral authority for electricity, outlining what he says are missteps the Davis administration has taken in regards to BPL, which provides power to areas of the country outside of Grand Bahama. Pintard said, quote, when we hear them talk about rate increase, they are the poster child for putting burdens on the backs of Bahamians throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and they've been derelict in their duty in providing reliability of supply, evidenced by what is happening not just with frequent outages in New Providence, but especially in Eleuthera. Pintard has previously said the government appears to be seeking to wrestle away privately held assets with its handling of the grievances it has with the GBPA. And while the FNM does not support the present configuration of leadership at the GBPA, it also does not want the central government taking over the entity because, Pintard says, quote, we will be in a worse position given the nature of the Davis-Cooper administration. He said the fight between the government and the Port Authority is damaging Grand Bahama. He said that many times before, but Prime Minister Davis has denied this as well, saying that investors locally and abroad don't seem to care one bit. All right, so let's get your reaction to all of that. Some interesting things said there by the opposition leader. And let's get into it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Toll free 242-300-5720. Laverne, I want to hear from you before we get to the callers. What are you hearing from people on the ground there in Grand Bahama? Are they more concerned about a potential rate increase, or are they concerned about who is the regulator? Does that matter to them? What's happening right now?
I think concern is a rate increase. That's a pressing concern. Whoever the regulator isn't so much of a concern in terms of whomever it may be. We don't want a rate increase. We're not accepting a rate increase. We cannot handle a rate increase. And that is the bottom line for Grand Bahamians. The rest of it, who is the regulator or not, that's a side issue. But on behalf of Grand Bahama, whomever the regulator may be, no increase.
Right.
That is the pressing concern, Dwight. That is the pressing concern. We are already paying a storm recovery tax. The Grand Bahama Power Company, as you know, already had, I think it was like a 3% increase.
Right.
A year or a year and a half ago. What are we doing? And we always in Grand Bahama and how it's not booming, it's not thriving. People are doing the best that they can to make ends meet. So, no, we're not entertaining any kind of an increase. And that is really our focus more so than who the regulator is.
Okay, interesting. Let's hear what these callers are saying. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dwight and your guest.
Hi.
I feel that the thought is correct in its sentiments in regards to the Grand Bahama Port Authority. You read the Oxford Creek Agreement, it clearly states that they have regulatory power. And like you said, the law was put in place last year for ERCA to become this. So it's a fight between
this year.
A contract and a contract this year. You understand? So I don't know why the government is bringing that up, because it's significant in what's going on. They just have to handle the situation, talk to the port, and handle the situation. No one in Grand Bahama wants how to go up. Everyone realizes this. We just have a discussion and see what will come out of it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Continue to call in, folks.
There's much discussion going on, if I'm honest. I'm sorry, Dwight, you were about to give out the numbers.
No, I'll give it after what you said. You don't think there's much? Say that again.
I don't think that there's much discussion going on between the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the government. I think they're past the discussion stage. Everything seems to be happening in the media and perhaps in the court.
Right.
And I think that is the extent of their discussion, sitting down at the table, trying to negotiate. The government has drawn their line in the sand, and the Grand Bahama Port Authority has drawn their line in the sand. It's not the same line. It's the same sand, but it's not the same
You sure
line.
it's the same sand? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe on a different island.
But I don't think that, our conversation or those conversations that the caller is talking about is going to happen anytime soon. And so this is where we find ourselves. But again, our concern is exactly that. If the Grand Bahama Port Authority, I think this has been a court matter, and this hasn't just been a court matter because of the new energy law that was passed. If I'm not mistaken, this has been a court matter prior to this. It was last year or maybe earlier this year. Time is going so fast. Anyway, I attended the meeting and we were talking about ERCA's regulatory rights in terms of power and cable and how that impacts those of us who live in the Freeport Empire area as opposed to those who live in the eastern and western parts of the island. And at that time, they indicated that it was a court matter, right? So this is an ongoing thing. But at the end of the day, I'm going to keep saying, whomever it may be, we're not interested in a rate increase.
Right. And
we cannot.
Right.
We cannot. Even if we were having consistent power like we used to years ago, we still could not. Not in this economic climate.
Wow.
And that's just the bottom line.
And
so what we need to do is make sure that this does not happen.
Well, and the port has made it clear that they haven't agreed to this at all, and we'll review this.
Yeah, they've made it clear, but they also have not come out and said, hey, this is going to be a no.
Right, they're saying they won't make a decision until December, which is a month before this new rate increase is supposed to go into effect if GBPC has their way. That's kind of late. But hey. All right, so continue to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. All right. Text messages. This person says here, why is it that whenever something goes wrong, it all leads back to JoBeth Colby? Why hasn't she made a statement about the power issue in Luther? Well, texter, she did issue a statement. She did issue a statement early in the week, and it said what's happening and how they're dealing with stuff.
Wasn't he in Harbor Island?
I'm not sure, but she did issue a statement,
I think that she may have been there with, at some point. I don't know if it was before the protest, during, or after.
Right. And remember, she said she was calling for BPL to be better with their communication to the public. She said, so they did issue a statement. But there's a lot going on in her ministries, energy and transport. That's always the case. And you remember when they used to be under Works? That always made the Works ministry the most challenged of all. But yeah. This person says here, what do you expect from Pintard? Boy, they're saying because his wife works at the Port Authority. I don't know. Is that correct, Laverne? I mean, but
I'm not sure,
that would be the reason why he would say that?
I don't believe that would be the reason why he would say that.
No.
He's basing it on what he knows and understands the Hawksbill Creek Agreement to say.
This text here says a new contract was issued for Luthra for waterworks. They just issued a contract in February last year that included an upgrade of the 36-mile pipeline, resolution of electrical issues affecting water, new water storage facilities, and upgrade of 3 water stations. The question that no one has answered is a comprehensive update of the state of that work. If it's on time, what's completed, what's left, if the budget is on target. Well, obviously, it's not finished with all the challenges they're having. Yeah, that's one thing we can determine. But this person says, I don't like Lundy being responsible for WSC and JoBeth Colby being responsible for energy. They're doing the same.
Why not?
Well, they're saying they're doing the same things that Minnis did, pushing all the big contracts into the Prime Minister's direct control. What now? This is not good. If you can't find competent MPs, get some competent state ministers into how this government works. Okay. Anyway. Boy, Lundy still has to provide an update on what happened. Okay. They're talking about the plane again still, and yeah. Aren't there 2 major players in the Bahamas, Great and Luther, building a major development around a golf course? There's just a lot of stuff going on here. Does it have consistent, reliable water? Is the course upkeep from their own private power and water plant? Okay, wow. Wow, Texas, a lot. Okay. Lots of questions. 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. All right. So, what are you hearing from people about the government and the back and forth and the row? The Prime Minister is saying that this is not affecting investor confidence, but what about resident confidence? The people who live there. They want change. They're not saying what that change should be. But what are you all thinking? That's for you, Laverne. I'm talking to you.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes.
Overall.
Mm-hmm. When you hear them
like
talk
you
like this, they clearly don't want the port in its current form.
Right.
They keep saying it. Something has to give. Something has to change.
Right. And so, what I'm hearing is, again, like you said, people want change. They want change for themselves, for their families, for this community. They may not necessarily, there are people who have ideas of how that can work, how that should work, but they don't necessarily know exactly what that would look like, other than this in its current form is not working for Grand Bahama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have people who will say, okay, let's get rid of the port the way that it's operating. There are things in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. There are some benefits that have worked for Freeport, and maybe to a certain extent Grand Bahama. So they look at that and they say, we want to maintain certain things, but we just do not like what's happening right now, what's been happening. And we want to look at something else, or have people do what it is that they are contractually obligated to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you? That's yes. Because getting some text messages. Somebody says, "Oh, watch this PC answer coming from Laverne." Because Grand Bahama Freeport people don't want the port to change at all.
Watch this. What answer?
PC. Politically correct. Politically correct answer. You all don't really want it to change, but you're not entirely happy with how it's going. Is that fair to say?
That we don't want the Grand Bahama Port Authority gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair assessment.
Now, what does that mean, though? That you love the port, or you just don't want central government to be managing your affairs?
Exactly. It's not that people are in love with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. It's just that there isn't sufficient confidence in central government.
Mm-hmm. So again, why don't we hear about
when you look at the eastern and western part of the island? It isn't as if they're booming and faring so much better. So people fear the unknown, right? And you and I talk about this off air a lot. People fear the unknown. This is what you've known. This is what you've come up in. This is what you've always understood it to be. And so it's hard for you to conceptualize anything else, especially if what you are, the other option, what you're looking at, doesn't seem to be so wonderful.
Which is what?
Central government.
It's not the other option. You know it's not the other. All of you know. All of you travel. You travel more than people from Nassau. You know that is not the only option. Why are you talking like this?
But I am talking like this because this is what you see.
Because that's what you want to see. It's got to be what you want to see.
Dwight, come on. You could say there are other options. You travel and you see, but again, what's right in front of you. Those are your options that
No.
you're thinking about that is right in front of you.
That's not how that's how human development has worked. You don't just sit there and say, well, they probably won't allow us to do this. No, you got to fight for what you want. Do you want to have municipal government where you put your own elected officials there to run and manage your city and your island? And that when you have a problem with them, you can remove them. That it does not depend on a family who feels that this person should be president emeritus or whatever it is. Do you want that? Where you could remove the mayor, you could remove the premier or the governor, whatever you want to call them, when they mess up. We can vote on platforms that this person has the right ideas for this island, for this city. I can contribute by being a member of the council. Bits I receive from the people in my community. That doesn't sound like something that you should be all fighting for across the whole country? As opposed to people being appointed based on God knows what, merit? Why are you stuck in this box thinking that there are only two options here, a private company and the central government? I don't understand it. And again, you know how it works in Fort Lauderdale, how it works in Orlando, Atlanta, Toronto, anywhere that you go.
And you know that they function differently from you, but to say you know how that works and to say generally that is something that you believe could happen here, let's start with that. Do we believe that that could happen here, that it's possible for that to happen here? And then the second thing is how? How are we going to go about it? Do we have the courage or the strength of our conviction to make that happen? Because that doesn't happen overnight, right? That takes people coming together and deciding no more, and that is it. Are we at that place where we're going to be standing up and saying no more? This is what we want, and this is what we're going to do. Are we going to?
If you're not there,
change is uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
And what we really do isn't that so much as we just opt to change government, right? So.
Complaining about a lack of development and what do they call it? Legacy issues for decades is also uncomfortable and annoying.
Absolutely.
So which one you want?
100%.
Which one you like complaining about stuff and blaming other people for it? Then carry on smartly. Carry on smartly. But, wow, local government in the future. You mean another series? Okay, yeah. Hey, we may have to do one every month because I don't know what's going on around here. What we have now is not working. Bahamians do not seem to understand it and do not want the change from the status quo, yet it is working where my cousin is living in Charlotte, North Carolina. It works all over the world.
And I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but I'm also saying that are we convicted enough? Do we want change enough?
No, not enough people do. It's clear.
And that's what it is, right? So you don't have sufficient people who are on board to say that we need to go forward with this.
Yeah. Well,
we don't.
We'll be there. We'll be talking about this in 25 years. Exact same thing. If we continue like this.
Who are you going to be talking about it with?
No, not Dwight, Strachan, Morning Blend. But the country will be focused, will be saying, oh, this, my God, why is this happening? We don't want central government.
We don't know that, Dwight.
Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne, Seattle, and Johnson. Dwight, I'm going to be talking about this sometime later today on your station, but just let me make one point to Laverne and to the wider Bahamas. If we are going to make an argument that the Oxford Creek Agreement governs the city of Freeport till 2054, then there's only one option. There's no other option. The Oxford Creek Agreement makes permission and allocation for municipal government. There's no other option as of August 4th, 1990. And so you could talk about the current local government structure we have and anything else, because the Grand Bahama Port Authority should have divested itself, that is, surrendered to the licensees. The problem, in the real sense that it has, is that 80% of the licensees would simply have to agree. And in fact, Dwight, I'll send you a copy of the lawsuit that the licensees, and I was one of them, that filed in 2006 to have that happen. And the Attorney General at the time, which was initially Alfred Sayers, who served as Attorney General and Minister of Education, refused to certify us as a nonprofit organization to actually take control of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. But there's a lot of things that is not said about the Oxford Creek Agreement, and with all due respect, 99% of the people who speak to it probably have never read it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much. Appreciate it. All right. Let's read a few messages before we go.
So,
You're gonna
so
respond?
there you go, right?
Mhm.
There you go.
No, there we not go.
No,
because
no. What
because
I'm saying
he's
is-
the only one I
what
hear calling for this transition. We used to hear maybe Greg
No,
Moss back in
right.
the day.
I'm not talking about that.
Mhm.
But when you have this current back and forth argument, whatever, stance between the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority, but you see that from years ago, it was fine the way it is. You know you understand what I'm saying? So we have an issue right now, but even if the Grand Bahama Port Authority was not doing everything that they should have done, not living up to what the Hawksville Creek Agreement says, there was an opportunity at one point to try to correct some things according to C. Allen and what they tried to do. You would think that based on that and based on what the Hawksville Creek Agreement said, there would not have been an issue for them to be certified. But I think that successive governments have enjoyed just how it was working or worked in Freeport, Blue Pius, and even to, reaching to the eastern and western parts of the island.
Yes, but for sinister reasons. Because potentially, there's nothing altruistic about it. Because if had this city functioned the way it was supposed to or could have, it could have, displaced Nassau as the biggest city in the country, and more people could have been living there, which would have been very detrimental to the central government that loves to control everything outside of this area. And so this was always designed to be held down, and it will continue to be like this, so that Nassau can continue to be the center of the kingdom, which is apparently what most of you like. But hey, one more call? Yeah, good morning, call. You're on the air. Are you there? You're going to talk to us? No, let's go to the break. We'll got a whole lot of messages and a whole lot more to talk about after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
When I'm walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads with a basket of potatoes on my head. Oh, don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home, wrapped in banana leaves.
It's Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
RBC turns and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
It's time for First Good Traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. There's a lot of work going on. We've talked about Tony Williams-Darling Highway, that paving on the northern side, the eastbound lanes between Bahamas Games Boulevard and Blue Hill Road. That continues at least through Monday, and you're asked to avoid the area between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Avoid it entirely. The motoring public advised to avoid the area as much as possible or follow all posted traffic signage, but trust me, avoid the area. And there's also work going on off McKinney Drive, Van Ria Avenue, and Vendel Drive. That's going to begin today through at least next week, Wednesday, from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. as well. Again, avoid the area if you can or follow all posted traffic signage. In your real-time traffic right now, we are seeing some congestion near the roundabout with Tony Williams-Darling Highway and Milo Butler Highway. So westbound, heavy traffic for you towards that roundabout, and northbound, heavy traffic for you on the Milo Butler side, but definitely not like what you're normally seeing at this hour. And so this is well north of Harold Pond when you see that congestion on the northbound side of Milo Butler Highway. Some slow-moving traffic on that stretch that we're telling you about the paving between Bahamas Games Boulevard and Blue Hill Road. And some congestion on the Blue Hill Road side northbound towards the roundabout with Tony Williams-Darling Highway and Independence Drive. Elsewhere, not much to talk about, just some congestion at some of the major intersections, especially along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road. That's what we're seeing right now. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. And in your weather check, hazardous marine conditions will continue along the Atlantic exposures of the Bahamas due to the presence of large easterly swells generated by Hurricane Ernesto out in the Atlantic. And that will pass east of the country, but still will affect weather conditions here. Meanwhile, a lingering trough near the extreme northwest Bahamas will continue to spark shower and thunderstorm activity over portions of the northwestern islands. So we've still got heat advisories. Another one today, heat advisory for the entire range from high to extreme. Everyone's being advised to limit outdoor activities and stay hydrated. There's also a moderate risk of waterspout activity across the northwest Bahamas. Boaters and beachgoers are urged to avoid Atlantic waters due to the large easterly swells, again from Ernesto. And the public is advised to exercise extreme caution while along coastal roads, especially Atlantic-exposed coastlines and eastern coastal roads due to the presence of moderate to large swells that will result in overtopping waves, coastal inundation, and sea spray, especially along the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, partly cloudy, hot, and humid with isolated showers and the chance of isolated afternoon thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas through tonight. Expect a few stray showers across the central Bahamas. Again, boaters strongly advised to avoid Atlantic waters. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms. For the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, breezy, and a bit hazy with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. Boaters strongly urged to remain in port in the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures today getting up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 106. Getting up to 106 is a heat index. The heat index will make it feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. In your extended outlook, elevated seas will continue across Atlantic exposures as Ernesto makes its way north, but still staying well east of the Bahamas. But that's still going to produce hazardous marine conditions due to easterly swells. The lingering front near the northwest Bahamas will sag southward and enhance shower activity over portions of the northwest and south. Friday, partly mostly cloudy and warm with isolated showers and the chance of afternoon thunderstorms across the northwest and central Bahamas. A few stray showers in the southeast Bahamas. Saturday, partly cloudy and warm with isolated showers and isolated thunderstorms across the central and portions of the northwest Bahamas. We'll take a closer look at the tropics in our next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages.
Craving something delicious and freshly made? Dunkin' has got you covered all day your way. From savory sausage, egg and cheese to crispy bacon, ham, and even tuna, our sandwiches are made to order just for you. Choose your favorite. Bagels, croissant, toast, or muffin. Whatever you want, we've got it. Whether it's a classic grilled cheese or a hearty club, your perfect sandwich is just a bite away. Dunkin's fresh, made-to-order sandwiches made all day your way. Only at Dunkin'. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:21, it's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's going on. We've got a lot, actually. Hazardous marine conditions along Atlantic exposures of the country due to the presence of large easterly swells generated by Hurricane Ernesto. That's going to Hurricane Ernesto passing to the east of the Bahamas, but causing some marine conditions here. Meanwhile, a lingering trough near the extreme northwest Bahamas will continue to spark shock northwest Bahamas. So we've got a number of warnings today. A heat advisory in effect for the entire country, and UV indices will range from high to extreme. Everyone's being advised to limit outdoor activities and remain hydrated. There's also moderate risk of water spout activity in the northwest Bahamas. Boaters and beachgoers should avoid Atlantic waters due to dangerous large easterly swells. And everyone's being advised to be cautious when traveling along Atlantic exposed coastlines and eastern coastal roadways due to the presence of those large to moderate to large swells. And that's going to result in overtopping waves, coastal inundation, and sea spray. And the glass window bridge in Eleuthera may be especially dangerous at this time. So for today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at partly cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated afternoon thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas through tonight. Expect a few stray showers across the central islands. And for the southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, breezy, and a bit hazy with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible through tonight. For boaters, again, for the northwest and central Bahamas, you're strongly advised to avoid Atlantic waters. And for the southeast Bahamas, you're strongly urged to remain in port and expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near showers and thunderstorms across the country. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs getting up to around 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. With today's highs, though, the heat index will make you feel like it's 106 Fahrenheit, 41 Celsius. In your extended outlook, elevated seas will persist across Atlantic exposures as Ernesto progressively moves north, staying to the east of the Bahamas but producing hazardous marine conditions due to easterly swells. The lingering front near the northwest Bahamas has shower activity over portions of the northwest and central islands over the next couple of days. So for tomorrow, Friday, partly to mostly cloudy and warm with isolated showers and the chance of afternoon thunderstorms across portions of the northwest and central Bahamas. Expect a few stray showers in the southeast Bahamas. Saturday, partly cloudy and warm with isolated showers and isolated thunderstorms across the central and portions of the northwest Bahamas. In the tropics, of course, all eyes on Ernesto, which is moving across the Atlantic now and moving north, heading towards Bermuda. A hurricane warning has now been issued for Bermuda. As of 5 o'clock this morning, Ernesto was about 635 miles southwest of Bermuda. Ernesto is moving towards the north near 13 miles per hour, and this general motion is expected today to continue, followed by a slower northeastward or northward motion on Friday and Saturday. On the forecast track, the center of Ernesto is expected to pass near or over Bermuda on Saturday. Maximum sustained winds are near 85 miles per hour with higher gusts. Strengthening is forecast over the next day or so, and Ernesto could be a major hurricane by Friday, possibly Category 3. Ernesto is forecast to be a large hurricane near Bermuda on Saturday. Wishing all the best for them. But that is your morning blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in store today. And our traffic for this morning brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. A reminder of the road works going on. We've got Tonic Williams-Darling Highway between Bahamas Games Boulevard and Blue Hill Road. The paving work continues on the eastbound lanes there, and you're asked to avoid the area as the major work continues between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Again, avoid that area if you can at this time. That work expected to continue until at least next week, Monday. And then there's Van Ria Avenue and Vandal Drive off McKinney Drive. There's paving going on beginning today through next week, Wednesday. And that's from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. as well. So avoid that area if you can, or follow the posted traffic signs. In your real-time traffic, clearing up a bit for you in the Milo Butler Highway and Tonic Williams-Darling Highway area and near that roundabout there, but still, as you get closer to the roundabout, some congestion there. East end, well, that's everywhere. Eastbound on Harold Road, Tonic Williams-Darling Highway, and westbound Tonic Williams-Darling Highway, northbound on Milo Butler Highway. Carmichael, some slow-moving traffic eastbound to Blue Hill Road, and Blue Hill Road looking a bit congested in that area near Carmichael, and especially as you get closer to Independence Drive and the roundabout. And elsewhere at the major intersections, you're going to be seeing issues along Robinson Road, like Robinson and Old Trail, Robinson and East-West Highway and Marathon Road, and further east along Prince Charles Drive at Beatrice Avenue. And some building traffic at Fox Hill Road as well. But that is what we're seeing. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads with a basket of potatoes on my head. don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home, wrapped in banana leaf down home. My, it tastes so sweet down home. Yeah. If you're looking for a little entertainment,
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Laverne Gardner. And Laverne, I just want to read a couple of messages really quickly. We've got a lot of these. We're going to get to these in a bit. But people are saying that I'm beating up on you. I don't know what this is about. Anyway, they're saying, Dwight, what Laverne is saying is that the options that you are discussing are not available now. How come it does not happen like this in the Bahamas? Please don't do that. We have a different system of government. What you are saying is not allowable in the Constitution of the Bahamas. I don't know what you're talking about, but even if that is the case, the Constitution is not set in stone. You can fix that. But anyway, they go on to say, please don't beat her up for being realistic to the choices that Freeport has. You are being idealistic, not realistic, my friend. Yeah? Okay. Well, I don't know. I think it's not realistic to think that if we continue with the way things are, that things will change. By thinking that what? I don't know what. But you're not living in reality. But okay, I hear you. A couple more of those messages, Laverne. Do you feel like I'm beating you up? Is Laverne there? Let's get her mic up. This person says, Dwight, don't jump on Laverne. We don't have municipal government in place, and lots of us agree that it is needed. Unfortunately, not enough people are lending their voices so that we can have municipal government soon. Another text here. The problem is that we have never had a plan for what happens when the Port Authority's contract ends. The government was supposed to take that development boost and then expand on it by taking back control of Freeport. Well, hey, we've got a surprise here. We've got opposition leader, F&M leader Michael Pintard calling in. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. How are you? And good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, Laverne.
Hope all's well.
Good morning.
Yes, I'm doing well.
All right, so we've been talking, of course, a lot about you this morning, which you're saying in the Nassau Guardian today. You're agreeing that GBPA is the regulator for electricity on Grand Bahama, but you're also saying you are not supporting the rate increase for GBPA.
No, that's the Guardian's headline. Our headline is that we do not support the rate increase. Given the conditions in Grand Bahama at the moment, we do not believe that anyone who's acting with a good conscience would want to pile additional expenses on the head and on the backs of Grand Bahamians. And unfortunately, the Grand Bahama Power Company is considering this at a time when they are having some strategic challenges in terms of reliability of electricity. And while they may or others may argue it's not as bad as BPL, the reality is that this is not the appropriate time to talk about a 6+% increase in electricity, given the state of the economy. And the broader conversation is, given what we're paying per kilowatt for power. And so the reality is the cost of electricity is entirely too high in the Bahamas in general, in New Providence and the Family Islands, and of course in Grand Bahama. And so the government increased the cost of the electricity in New Providence, which was unconscionable when it was done, which is why I find it quite laughable that the chairman and the prime minister are talking as much as they're talking, given the burden that they have put on the Bahamian people in general with respect to electricity throughout the Bahamas. First, by botching the hedge program, which caused electricity costs to go up, and then secondly, by introducing the glide path, which was approved by IRCA, which we thought was a horrible idea, particularly since that path, that plan that they had put in place was, as we argued then, and the government was not quick to to agree, but we argued that an illegal loan was made to BPL, and the government was trying to find a way to pay it back. Well, that increased the price, and we were promised back then that the moment that path has been put in place and they've remedied what they had in mind, the cost of electricity would go down. That did not occur. And so BPL, much like the Grand Bahama Power Company, now, in our view, were in no position to increase the rates on the backs of Bahamians. We opposed it in Nassau. We opposed it shortly after they announced it. We came out with a statement issued by our spokesperson for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Crazy Thompson. We made it clear we did not support any proposed rate increase. And so we're sending that message loud and clear to the power company as well as to GBPA.
Okay.
And so we say to the government, you are in charge. So you ought to also make your point clear, but don't muddy the water talking about IRCA, because that's a different discussion we can have. The issue is we have to speak candidly to the power company, candidly to the regulator we know on record, which has been, the key stakeholders are saying the same thing. The Chamber of Commerce, GBPA, central government, opposition, members of the public, everybody ought to be on the same page. Right. This should not be permitted to go through.
Right. Well, at least it seems with the rate increase, everybody seems to be on the same page there, not in support of it. We want to talk to you, though, about what you said about supporting the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. And what exactly does that mean? And the future for Freeport, the port area, and Grand Bahama in general. What is the FNM's plan? What needs to be done here? What needs to happen here for there to be growth and development on this island?
Right. So, again, I'll begin first with one of the comments that I made from the time I was in the Senate. And this is... this is more than 7 years ago. I made the point that what we needed was definitely for the government and the the present configuration of the municipal government, which is in the form of GBPA, to stop scapegoating each other. In other words, here you have two entities, both of whom the public in Grand Bahama are not pleased with. And it doesn't matter which administration it is. The public is not pleased with the level of production in recent times in Grand Bahama. Certainly the largest, most significant and consistent spate of investments into the Grand Bahama economy was during the Ingram years. We have had a precipitous fall off in terms of brand new investments where shovels are in the ground. The structures have been built, and we're feeling the benefit. Have there been some developments? Yes, of course. However, the concern is that each serious problem where residents in Grand Bahama are crying out for intervention, there is this tug-of-war between central government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority, each holding the other responsible for the lack of economic growth. And so, again, what would be certainly different under administration is I believe that there has to be greater cooperation and dialogue between stakeholders, Chamber of Commerce, licensees of the port, who are often left out, the municipal government, the central government, and of course have the town meetings so that residents can weigh in as well. We have not done sufficient of that, in my view, over the last multiple administrations. And I think that is what new leadership ought to be doing, and that is what I believe the Davis Cooper administration ought to be doing. But this public row and fight that is going on, it only hurts residents. It doesn't hurt the guys in Parliament who enjoy a certain quality of life. 9 out of 10 of them live elsewhere other than in Grand Bahama. And it doesn't hurt, in my view, the shareholders of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, because their bread is buttered on both sides. And so what we actually need is to go back and look at when the St. George's and Haywood families were fighting previously and the negative impact that had on investor confidence in this community and the forward movement of projects.
All right. So the
government is duplicating that right now, and they're duplicating that exponentially to a larger degree, because when the government behaves in the way that it is behaving, it isn't only sending a message to a bad message to potential investment elsewhere in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll open with that particular point.
So do you not agree that the time has come to move away from the type of municipal government that Freeport has, where these are descendants of the families that you mentioned or appointees who are making the decisions?
Yes, I do. I've said multiple times on the record, despite the nasty lies by the PLP to try and cast it as something else, I've been on the record. We have been on the record, because the two principal persons who have spoken for the Free National Movement have been myself and the shadow for Grand Bahama, which is Kwesi Thompson, that we're of the view that there has to be a broadening of shareholders in GBPA. That is absolutely necessary. I think it should be a matter that, and I believe that there is openness. It is my understanding that robust discussions are going on to again increase the number of shareholders. But we want to be letting more Grand Bahamians, particularly the licensees, should be privy to what is being contemplated, and it should not be a simple private discussion, so that we are able to broaden the amount of minds with ideas as well as persons with resources to invest in Grand Bahama in general, but Freeport in particular, and to attract investment to this community. Dwight, I don't claim to be an expert on the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, but I know enough to know that the PLP is playing a purely political game. This has very little to nothing to do for people of Grand Bahama. And I anchor that by saying this. If they're concerned, they should then explain why being in control, completely in control, of West and East Grand Bahama, they have not been able or willing to execute the kind of action that will help in the development of both of those communities. So, and this is not to make a case for GBPA. This is just simply to point out that if you are so passionate and you're concerned about us as a people, right, then explain why why there are hundreds of homes in West Grand Bahama alone that have been damaged from several hurricanes ago. And it is only really during the by-election when we put teams on people's roofs to repair homes that you rush in to try and touch some of those homes. Many of those contracts have since stopped since the by-election has ended. So again, it's a game. It's a political game because there is not an economic solution that the PLP have been able to find to help grow the economy of Freeport and Grand Bahama. Therefore, it is seeking a political solution, which is to give the impression that we are your saviors. We are coming in to do what no other has been able to do in Grand Bahama, when the PLP has a bad record in Grand Bahama. Their record, Dwight, and I'll pause on this point, their record is that the present configuration of GBPA is a result of the PLP permitting the original shareholders of GBPA to actually sell off the revenue-generating aspects of what used to be, for lack of a better word, the original Grand Bahama Port Authority. So the utility company was privatized. It takes over GBPA today. The revenue from the utility company does not go to the government.
Yeah. Well, this is what we've been talking about.
Sanitation services was allowed to be privatized.
Mm-hmm.
The power company, a number of the service companies, all of whom were generating revenue, they have been allowed by the Progressive Liberal Party to function as private companies whose resources are not available to those of us who live in Grand Bahama. So they cared about us.
This is
Why did they do that?
This is what Laverne and I were talking about before the break, though. Why does it seem like the politicians are only focusing on two options here: central government or a private family company? There are more options than that. Why are we limiting, or why are you folks limiting yourselves in that type of thinking? That is perplexing to me, and I think a few others, but not the majority. But
no,
why
we're not
not?
limited to that. No, we're not. We're not limited to that. All aspects of good governance in Grand Bahama should be on the table, inclusive of having an elected group of officials who manage Grand Bahama Port Authority. That should be up for discussion. That there should be no sacred cows here. The one aspect that I believe, certainly I know the Free National Movement position is, and I believe more widely Grand Bahamians' position will be, is that they don't want central government, particularly the Davis administration, to take over Freeport. They will politicize every license that's been issued. They will control every investment that seeks to come into Grand Bahama. They will divvy up whatever little assets are left in a manner that will not will conform to good governance. And so an option that should be on the table. But yes, other options should in fact be considered, and we'd be prepared to engage in responsible, mature conversations with all relevant stakeholders. And that is what is not happening now. Instead, the PLP, through its black ops and their messengers out there, are seeking to muddy the water, that they are the only ones who care about the people in Grand Bahama. If you cared, how do you explain that so many senior citizens are having challenges just simply getting a food voucher?
Right.
They're taken off the program. We're talking about dozens and dozens and all throughout all of Grand Bahama. Thankfully, the new minister is now looking, how do you get them back on? And then you go and verify without taking them off the program so that they can eat. How do you explain that? And we could give you countless examples of a dereliction of duty by central government. And so what I would like, Dwight, is for us to examine the historical facts, the revenue generating components in Free Progressive Liberal Party presided over each of those elements becoming private entities. So what they are seeking to grab is a entity that gets revenue from licensees and service charges. Those two things.
All right.
Should we change the configuration? Yes, we should.
All right,
but don't come to Grand Bahama trying to sell this bill of dreams that you are concerned, because you're not.
All right. Michael Pintar, leader of the F&M, thank you so much for talking with us. We've got to have you to have a full discussion on this. We keep saying that, but we're going to do that sooner than later. Thank you for calling.
I'm available next week, Dwight. So
right.
I'd be more than happy next week to come
All
in.
right. Let's make it happen.
And Fred Mitchell should come on. I mean, or the Prime Minister. More importantly, I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with the Prime Minister publicly on the future of Grand Bahama and why, and to find out why have you not gotten the airport deal done? You had more time than we did after Dorian. Why haven't you sold the hotel? Help us understand those particular. Why are you not repairing homes in West Grand Bahama to the level that you need?
We'll make this discussion happen. Thank you so much for calling in today.
No
really
problem.
appreciate it. Michael Pintard, F&M leader there. All right, let's take a break and we'll be back. We got a lot more Morning Blend to come.
Jump off the points from in the ocean. EYIP and the boys. Diamond skin was our notion. Racing old cars was our toys. Hugh, Rio, and Pop Strong. Spy, Donald, and Hartman. I can't get them all in this song, but boys from the rocks, we all got along. From motorbikes to guitar, driving John Road truck, speeding from the driving, cause I just might have some luck. Sweet home Grand Bahama.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/Caribbean.
Here's a sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. Oh yeah, we also have airbrush paint. I don't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobbycraft,
Oil shrimp, stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill, and Fire Trail, it's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Attention Bahamas. Embark on an inspiring voyage with 2 new books by Hubert Ingram, Our Remarkable 3-Time PM. Learn of his exceptional leadership in steering the nation through local and international storms. These books are a treasure for all Bahamians. Are you into history or seeking inspiration? Then this is a must-read. Available at Dungalik, Logos, the National Art Gallery, and Chapter 1. Get your copies today. Be inspired by a legacy of wisdom and vision.
Forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
RBC. RBC will find the right loan for all of you with competitive rates and extended terms to suit you. Whether it's for debt consolidation, your next vehicle, or home purchase, sometimes we all need a little more. No matter the reason for the loan, we're here to help you find the solution. RBC. RBC has all the loans for all of you. Let's start with a conversation today.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4, get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back-to-school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back-to-school special. Restrictions apply.
Tell them we're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan, dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan, Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan, from the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, go play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy Percy's Island Game.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Laverne, got a whole lot of text messages to get to. A lot of the folks, as I said earlier, are saying that I'm beating up on you. I was beating up on you. Did you feel that way?
No, let me say this. Let me say this because people are texting my phone and they are saying the same
Oh,
thing.
really?
Yes, really.
Okay.
Really. And so Dwight and I have these kinds of discussions on and off the air, and he's very passionate, as you know, about municipal government. And not only that, because it's obvious that this can work, we can do this, how can we get it done? So when we have these discussions on and off air, it's lively, it's fun, it's nothing. He didn't beat upon me. I don't feel as if Dwight beat upon me. We are good. And these are the things that we're talking about is what we talk about off air as well.
Yeah.
So please, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys, coming to my defense, but it's okay. I'm right. I'm good. He's not beating up
I don't
on
even
me
know.
at all.
I'm just
very
asking questions.
And if I'm honest, it's Dwight who's being very open about how he feels. I tend to try to be more diplomatic on the radio.
Yeah, off air, Laverne has a lot more to say. Today I don't understand it, but okay. Anyway, that's fine.
I'm being very cutesy, very demure. Sorry.
Not that. Oh, my. Not that. This text here. Listen to this, Laverne. You are missing the point, Dwight. The people in Grand Bahama do not want the Port Authority to be removed. They still have a 1960 mentality in Grand Bahama. What does that mean? I have lived there for 25 years, and one of the most interesting things I've found is that they always are looking for someone else to do for them. Wow. Well,
that's... That only in Grand Bahama?
That's a good point.
Saying,
that's a good point.
Is that only because I don't think that's only in Grand Bahama. I think we encountered that throughout the Bahamas. And part of it, I think, is because that's the way it has been designed.
Yeah. All right.
So that you're always looking for someone to do for you.
Boy. This text here, and okay, listen, boy. This text says here, Dwight, if it weren't for the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Grand Bahama would look like Acklands or Mayaguana or Nassau and with no plan. I'm not disputing that. I'm saying that these people who are running this entity should be elected officials, not MPs, should be elected officials. People elected to a city council, people elected to a commission, I don't know, and someone who is a mayor, somebody who is answerable to the people, who won't be there for years, who won't be the descendant of a founder, or, right? This is, you put them there, you remove them once they start acting up. If they don't meet the promises that they said they were going to do, by this time we'll have this development and the city will be here or there, whatever, remove them. That's how it works. That's how it works in cities. All right, people who will come to you with their vision. If you don't like the vision, don't vote for them. If you do like it, vote for them. If they can't live up to it in 3-5 years, whatever you decide it should be, remove them or put them back so they can finish what they started. That's how a city should be. We don't have that in Nassau, and you can tell that there is nobody here with a vision for this place. And you can tell that for the entire Bahamas. If you wait for ministers in Nassau to run your settlement, town, city, it will look the way it looks right now forever. No one can remove those people, it seems, who are running the GBPA. No matter how badly the city performs, no matter what, they're there. They're always there. You fine with that? Okay. This text says Grand Bahama people, that's something. Grand Bahama Power did an increase on the people just a few years ago. Where was all this energy of IRCA and GPA about who's regulators? You're just joining us, I guess. This is a new development, the Electricity Act passed this year, which is the government trying to make IRCA the regulator for all of the country. So they would not have been what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, uniform for the whole place, because we're supposedly one country. Yeah. This person says here, if the port wasn't in Grand Bahama, it would look like Cat Island. They're just dissing every island. Yes, okay, you're right. But Freeport should be a tax-free zone. Why did the port let the government let that become a tax in Freeport, which is what I don't understand. Dwight, can you conduct
Can I just interject here and say,
Sure.
because I think, based on the text that you're reading, that maybe people aren't quite understanding what you've been saying. You're not saying that remove the Grand Bahama Port Authority or the way that it is.
I'm
You're
saying
just
it should
saying
be
that it doesn't have to be a family.
It shouldn't be a family
elected
company.
officials.
Yes.
Right. And that's what you're saying.
And I think
But
almost
the
everywhere in
fact-
the country needs a model like that, but not of a company running the place.
Right. Per se, but by that, you cannot move people who are not effective. The power would rest with the people, is what you're saying.
Yes.
And so, which also goes back based on the many texts that are coming into what I said earlier, when you said there are more options, but people don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
They only see one or the other. Because the texts are coming in and saying what? Oh, if you remove the Port Authority, then it'll look like wherever, or it'll look like this place.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't understand why people are thinking like this.
Because while people travel and things about the way that it's being done, you may know it on a very surface level. We have never seen that model here in the Bahamas. So it may be hard for some to visualize how that would work because they've never seen that model work at some place in the country to say, oh, okay, so that is how it would look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not going to be easy. It wouldn't be an easy transition. That is true. And it will require lots of changes.
Then you lose us because you know what I always tell you, Dwight. We like change. We just
it's going to take time.
The change already done.
It's going to take time. You will have to possibly amend good portions of your Constitution. But what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You will need to amend lots of laws. There will be lots of changes. But why be afraid of that? Why be afraid of that? If it will likely mean a more efficient running of the jurisdiction, just things happening without the bureaucratic backlog and chaos that we have when you're waiting for Nassau to decide on something. Boy. Okay. This says here, can you conduct a poll with your callers on preferences on management and by whom? Okay, maybe one day. But what would that mean? Callers? I don't know if that would mean anything. I don't know if I want to read this. Okay. This person says here, local government will fail in Grand Bahama because they already have a version of local government. No, they don't. They don't. Nothing that will make any type of difference at all. You love to say this stuff, but they don't get to decide on many things at all.
We have a form of local government where the power still resides with central government.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You remember when we were there for the by-election and just to do a show at a place, the local officials told me they had to call Nassau to determine whether we should be allowed there. Can you imagine? In 8 Mile Rock. What? Whether we could stand here to do a show. Then we call Nassau. I'll never forget it. Never forget. All right, we'll pick this up a little bit later in business, but we got a break for news, and then we'll be back with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us, folks.
When he hold the head, he just put a hump in his back, then he jump back like Jack. If you up and win his place, he'll be on your case. That's where they all dance around. When the sun goes down, they got a West End move. They got a West End groove. Back
Back to school is around the corner. Move to the top of the class with this amazing Scotiabank Back to School credit card offer. You could win your share of prize money valuing $10,000 when you spend $150 or more on any Scotiabank credit card to purchase books, uniforms, technology items, or other academic items. 10 lucky customers will each win $2,000 in cash back towards their purchases. Promotion runs July 12th through September 30th, 2024. Drawing date is Friday, October 11th, 2024.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, August 15th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we've got a couple of things we're going to be talking about this morning. We're going to get details about the Nassau Cruise Port and their end of summer block party a little bit later in the show. But right now we're talking about Windsor Lakes, and they have an open house coming up. Here to tell us all about this, we are very pleased to have back with us from Maison, Bahamas, Suzanne Black. Suzanne, it's been a while. Good to see you. How's everything?
Everything's coming along well, thank you, and it's good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Almost feels like yesterday.
Yes,
Dwight.
of course. Well, you know, always great to see you. All right, so remind folks about Windsor Lakes before we talk about the open house, what this is and what we're expecting here.
All right, happy to do that. All right, let me give you the sort of the numbers first, and then I can go into what quality life I think it will provide, I believe it will provide. It's a luxury gated community of 65 acres, 3 lakes, and ready access to Adelaide Beach. And we always say location, location, location when we speak about the Bahamas. Windsor Lakes is located right next to the ultra-luxury Albany Resort and close proximity to Adelaide Village. For those people who like to go to an Adelaide Village and Adelaide Beach, there you are. And there are people that I've already spoken with who have invested in Windsor Lakes, and they access right across the street.
Yeah. So again, remind us, how many in total lots or how many?
65 acres, 3 lakes. Yeah. A big number. We have, let me see, homes. We have 137 single-family lots, and we have 36 multifamily lots.
Okay. All right. So far, what percentage of this is sold?
So far, already about 75 lots have been either sold per se or are under the process of closing the sale.
So that's pretty good so far.
We would like to say so, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. We just had the BRIA president, Carla Sweeting, on yesterday talking about...
I read the article.
Yeah, we were talking about the demand in the luxury market. It is going gangbusters. Let's talk about that. What do you think is spurring this along, and how far is this going to go?
What I think is spurring it along is not only in the Bahamas do we have, let's face it, some frustrated people, but more people worldwide that want a place for peace of mind, quiet, to feel secure, to get away from it all. And I think the Bahamas still offers that, and it is easy to reach and readily accessible. And we are a democracy. Whatever our failings, we're not perfect. If there were a perfect country, we'd all go there.
Definitely be trying.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. All right. So you're doing something special in just a couple of days.
We are.
A VIP open house. Let's talk about that one.
Yes. Well, we have tents. We have refreshments. And, of course, we have the Maison team on hand. And there are easy car sales vehicles as well as Icon carts to drive people around in.
That's the golf carts.
Exactly right. All state-of-the-art, because we're a state-of-the-art home site. That's where we are. And so people can take tours, find out about it, see it for themselves, walk the property. best way to know about any place is to see for yourself and walk the property.
Yeah. All right. So you said something. We're going to come back to what you can expect on Saturday, but you said state of the art. Explain how and why. Yes, it sounds like it's going to be beautiful with the lakes, but why state of the art?
All right. First of all, let me say one thing I think is really important. Underground utilities. That sounds boring, but that's
not
really
boring.
important.
This is a hurricane zone.
All right.
That's very important.
All right, let me give you the amount. All right, so you've got a clubhouse, all right, which has meeting facilities, a place to go and meet your friends after work, have a drink, and so forth, all right? The clubhouse, by the way, is going to have one of those plug-ins for the electric vehicles, which is a nice thing to know. Resort-style pool and cabanas. State-of-the-art fitness center, which I could use, I'm sure. Maybe other people could do.
We all could.
A children's playground with a, ready for this, jungle gym.
Okay.
I said, wow. And a dog park, Windsor Dog Park. I hope they have an official owning. I want to take my dog and go. A full-size tennis court. Shooting hoops on a half-size basketball court. Pickleball and padel, which is the new thing.
Yeah, pickleball
By the
is
way,
big.
yeah. Well, padel, I couldn't resist looking up. It's in 75 different countries today.
I've never heard of this one.
Easy to learn. Well, come to Windsor Lakes. Hey, I'll be happy to give you one of our brochures after. And challenging to master, and it's considered, that's just for you, a thinking man sport.
Oh, yeah?
You like thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Check it out.
Indeed. So, if BYD means build your dreams, this is build your world in Windsor Lakes. And what makes it unique? You've got 3 lakes. You've got beach access. You do have the gated community. You do have a serene landing. And there is future planning for a beach amenity allowing sun, sand, and surf. And here's the thing. You know, we often complain, I find, about the humidity. Well, in Windsor Lakes, it's an environment-sensitive infrastructure. It includes unique systems for entirely internal drainage system that directs all the rainwater runoff. This is not done before. In specially designed that tend to absorb moisture from the air and that channels clean water back into the lakes. Wow. How about that?
Okay.
Where it is permitted to be absorbed back into the water table, and that makes it useful to the environment and to those who live in Windsor Lakes. And there are solar-powered lake aerators that keep the lakes healthy, reduce mosquitoes, important, and provide algae control.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so definitely state-of-the-art, high-tech stuff.
I don't think there's
on.
anything else like it in the
I
Bahamas.
haven't heard of that.
Right.
Wow. All right, so that's pretty cool. Before we get to more on Saturday, give us an idea of some of the pricing. What are we looking at here?
Sure. The lots start from, there's still some at $225. The homes, $895. And you can go up to 1.12. They're going to be 4, I believe, if not 5, built by Robbie Myers' company, and you can build to order.
Right.
You can make changes if you wish, but there's a package available to do the interiors for you. So it's, you know, if it's someone coming in from abroad and they say, hey, I don't want to be bothered, they can do it. But if someone comes and says, well, I've got my own contractor, I'm a contractor, one of my clients is, fine. Of course, there are committees that you go through the normal thing in developments to ensure quality and preserving it for all the residents, the people who live here. But it's ready to go when you're ready.
Wow, all right.
And the building starts, by the way, in September. The developer is going to start building the model homes.
So what is the timeline we're looking at here?
September to start.
September to start.
And how long do houses take to build?
Yeah.
6-9 months a year.
So next year, people will be moving in.
I would say next year people can be moving in. There is something I should mention, though, in fairness to everyone. One has five years to build. Now, some people say, well, why can't I just have the property forever? We want Windsor Lakes to be a real community, I should say the developer does, where people come in and build within 5 years and live. Now, if people change their mind, they can sell. Question, do we think the prices of the lots are going to increase? Have you seen where it hasn't? Look at Albany. Look at Life at Key. Look at Old Fort Bay. And Windsor Lakes has lakes and access to sea. So we've got it going.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So I want you to give us an update. That we know that initially there'd been some issues with the mangroves in the area. Where do things stand with that? I know that work has been done to repair damage that was done.
If one goes there, one can see it for oneself. But there's been a lot of repair work. But remember when I mentioned the lakes, I said that the control for the algae, but it's all of the areas around the lakes, they're going to be put with mangroves. It's going to be planted out, and the process is going to start fairly soon this year, as I understand it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the reality of life is, in order to build, you do have to move things a bit. But I think Mr. Mize is really absolutely determined to make it back as good as, if not better than before. Right. And if one drives through, I mean, I saw cocoa plums. I was tempted to stop and pick some, So a lot of the native foliage is still there.
Right. Yeah. All right. So Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Who can come? When should they come? Tell us all about that.
All can welcome. Mm-hmm. All are welcome. There's a lot of parking space. It starts at 10. It goes on until 4. And the vehicles to drive everyone around will be there all the time. Now, the question may be, how long does it take to drive around? You can do it in 15 to 20 minutes, and then stay and chat, have a bite with us, get to know other people who may well be your neighbors. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is there a model house up yet, or
not yet? Starts in September.
All right.
September, not long away.
And the clubhouse... Not yet either. But just drive around and see the area.
You can see it, and if one looks at the website, there are all of the model houses up, which show the not only exterior of the buildings, but the interior. So you can see, well, I want 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. You're allowed to go up 2 stories. So if one wants a 2-story home, that is possible.
Yeah. Well, and you don't need to make an appointment, or should you? Is that a...
Well, Saturday, just please come anywhere, anytime from 10 to 4, because now, in the Bahamas, people tend to come right before 4 o'clock. So we do our very best to accommodate.
Showing up.
Yeah, but there's plenty of time to come and enjoy it. And if any other time, call a Maison agent. We'll show you around. Very happy to do so.
Tell us about that, how to reach an agent to talk about it or to learn more
Maison
information.
Bahamas website, look at the numbers. You can look and see who the agents are. Pick your choice. Ryan Knowles is head of Maison. He established it. We have a very good team. They are very dedicated to providing service. And I would, a little personal thing, I used to get into a challenge when I was on radio because I would say things like this. One of the things some of us do in this country is we make appointments and we don't show and we don't call. Mm-hmm. And I would say this, if you want to get the very best for yourself, the way to work with your agent is to keep them in the loop, because we're here to help you. That's why we're agents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We care about what we do, and we care about our customer.
All right, great stuff. Suzanne Black, one more time, let people know what's happening on Saturday.
Open house. All are welcome. Come to Windsor Lakes. There with plenty of parking. Get in a BYD or an Icon. Be driven around. And let me just say, as a man or woman thinketh, so is he. Some of us forget. It's biblical. But if we look at our minds as we think we are, and there are 2 things I would mention. One, and I think Ryan, when he was quoted in one of the newspapers, talked about blue minds, that being near water can help to make us happier, healthier, more connected. You ready for all this? More successful at work, more compassionate. And that's a Dr. Nichols. But there's also something called someone called a Dr. Happiness, which is about our well-being, which is very strongly linked to our happiness and life satisfaction levels and how we feel about ourselves. And how we feel about ourselves determines how we function, how productive we're going to be. Come to Windsor Lakes, be your most productive self, live in a state of well-being at Windsor Lakes.
Yeah. Hey, we should all be a lot happier here as how close we are to water, hey?
Exactly right.
But somebody's actually asking, but Windsor Lakes, again, this is near Adelaide.
Yes, if one drives by Adelaide, and again, on the website, you can get the Google pin. A few minutes past Adelaide, just keep going west on that road. And you've got, as I said, Albany, and you can't miss it. We've got a lot of signage up, Windsor Lakes.
Yeah. All right, sounds like it's going to be very exciting. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
All right. I know you're going to keep us posted on what's happening with Windsor Lakes. Suzanne Black, thank you.
We will
Good
do
to see
our
you.
very best, sir, and thank you so much.
All right.
Pleased to be here.
Suzanne Black with Maison Bahamas. We're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's my house and I live here. It's my house and I live here. There's a welcome mat at the door. And if you come on in, you're gonna get much more. There's my chair, I put it there. Everything you see is with love and care. It's my house and I live here. I wanna tell you.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Back to school is around the corner. Move to the top of the class with this amazing Scotiabank Back to School credit card offer. You could win your share of prize money valuing $10,000 when you spend $150 or more on any Scotiabank credit card to purchase books, uniforms, technology items, or other academic items. 10 lucky customers will each win $2,000 in cash back towards their purchases. Promotion runs July 12th through September 30th, 2024. Drawing date is Friday, October 11th, 2024.
You roll with the best for all your printing needs. There ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Summer may be ending, but the party is just getting started at Nassau Cruise Port. Don't miss our Summerfest All-Star Bahamian Concert on Saturday, August 17th at the Nassau Cruise Port Amphitheater. Enjoy electrifying performances by Abby, Sweet Emily, Elon Moxie, The Mighty Pencil, Shad Colley and the VIPs, Lottie, and more. Best of all, it's free. Gates open at 4 p.m. Show starts at 6 p.m. Grab your crew, bring your vibes, and let's end this summer in true Bahamian style.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consigned all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Calling all young champions, supportive sidekicks, and wise mentors. Are you ready to unleash your back-to-school superpowers? Fly into John Bull Business Center, gear up, and enjoy a super 20% off all school supplies and 10% off on teaching aids. And that's not all. With every purchase now through September 7th, enter to win a $3,000 shopping spree. Zoom in to John Bull Business Center today and gear up like a true super student.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Is this a party or what? This the big bad, sir. Take it out. Why, yeah. Let's do it, y'all. Tonight the mood is right. Gal, them look so nice. Keep on playing this sweet down music. Say the people can't refuse it. Outside in the open air, holding my baby oh so near, with one hand in her hand and one arm around the waist. We having a party in the backyard. Oh yeah, party all night long. We gonna break and scrape until the morning comes. We're gonna party.
We are back with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio, 96 partner, and Summerfest Bahamian Edition is coming to Nassau Cruise Port this weekend. Here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to have back with us Sean Gomez and Aisha Roll, who looks different every time I see her. But good. Good.
What a way to start the show, Dwight.
I just got to put it out there. Good morning, everybody. Great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So, is it end of summer already?
Apparently.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Well, at least maybe the heat will.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I think everyone wants the heat to go, but unfortunately, I don't think it ends with the summer season.
No.
So
right till Christmas.
One more month or so. Right.
But hey, all right. So this is great. You all know the party, so this is going to be special. Tell us about this. How did this come about?
So Summerfest, this is our give back to the community. This is our free concert for the local community, as well as some of the guests that we still will have in port that day. But we haven't done anything really for the summer for the locals, just, keeping in mind the summer heat and all of that.
Yeah.
We had our Independence extravaganza that went well until, the rain came down. But this is our okay, let's try this again. And this is our last for the summer. But we have a massive lineup.
This is going on into Sunday afternoon.
So we're supposed to have 4. The gates are going to open at 4. We're supposed to end at about 9:30, but I'm saying until.
Nah.
Because,
until.
You don't know what these beautiful artists are going to do once they hit the stage. So we have Shad Colley backing Ancient Man, Elon Moxie, Sweet Emily, Shine, Veronica Bishop, Avi, Stelit, Julian Believe, and Wendy. We also have Blotty backed by the Pawn Band, and we also have Sky Juice Band. So this is a massive lineup.
Massive.
I really don't think we're about to end 9:30, but
maybe 9:30 in the morning.
I encourage everybody to come out from early. Have breakfast, have lunch. The amphitheater space will be activated at 4, but we are encouraging everybody to come play tourists for the day.
Yeah,
check out the port.
And you said it, but I mean, it's still shocking after you read off that list that this is free.
It's free 99.
Absolutely free.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so while all those people are going to be performing, that's going to be great. What else can we expect at the
So we're
cruise
going
port
to
at that
have
time?
a kiddie corner activated, bouncing castles, giant games. We also have face painting, henna, balloons. We also have food trucks that'll be in port, as well as our tenants will be open. So Bamboo Shack, Preacher's Kid, Island Post Gallery, and Wine Bar, the 50 vendors that we have in Port Marketplace, as well as our Port Plaza tenants as well. So it's open to explore, but the amphitheater space itself will be robust with things to do for everybody.
Yeah, let's also plug in the puppies.
The Pot Puppy Party. So we also have Pot Puppy Party going on. They're going to be there from 1 p.m. until about 5. So Bark and the Humane Society
has been happening consistently.
Yeah.
I think it's every 2 weeks. It happens at the port where they come and they actually bring the puppies and they allow people to come in. You sign up.
sign your waiver to make sure you know what you're getting into when you're petting the dogs,
And
of course.
they play with the puppies,
And
and
play
it's
with
been a
puppies.
big
It's
hit.
wonderful.
Yeah.
They love it. And the
Help
passengers
them play with the puppies.
Oh yeah, man. The
Okay.
passengers
Okay.
love our Bahamian pot cakes.
Hey, they should.
You know, they're cute, you know.
They
They're
are.
cute.
They're
Don't
very
mind them. They roam around.
No,
We see
they're-
them a
they're
lot, but they are
wonderful.
really cute dogs. And so imagine that. And even just the strays that they end up seeing, they fall in love with them. So
Follow them back on the porch. and it's like,
exactly.
yeah, no.
They be trying to take them with them and like no. So this is a really, really good opportunity. But most of all, we love partnering with community organizations like BARC, Bahamas Humane Society, just because supporting them in any way possible is always something that we love to do. The port is for Bahamians. It is open to Bahamians. It is about locals, and Bahamians own the port. And so any opportunity we get to combine those things, our love for service and the opportunity to just have some fun and to make something unique of a situation, we're going to do it. And so that's something that happens at the port, but it's also going to happen on Saturday,
Oh, it's
and that
gonna be a
adds
lot.
another element. Yeah.
All right, so I'm sure you've heard the conversations. People are saying, are concerned about our culture getting exposed to visitors and people from, around the world. How many ships are going to be in town? Someone's asking that as well.
Six.
And six
We have
will
6 ships
be
in port on Saturday. Yeah.
So potentially many thousands of people will be exposed to Bahamian music.
A little
and
over
Bahamian-
20 or so.
How many?
A little over 20.
Over 20,000.
20,000
Nothing too
people
crazy.
will be in Nassau at the cruise port and
On
potential music and Bahamian culture.
Of course, but they see that every time they come to the port. Wow. And that's the fun thing. We are very,
day-to-day
very,
activations.
exactly,
We're
we're
intentional.
very focused on having an authentically Bahamian experience. It's the reason why our 50 vendors within the port marketplace, we push those products and those items because they are Bahamian centric, whether it be by design, whether it be by handmade. Those are items that we appreciate and that we love to see pushed out. So passengers, when they come to Nassau Cruise Port, they always get a taste of the Bahamas. We got Bamboo Shack in the port.
Right.
I mean, come on now. And we're not even just talking about the regular tourism branding souvenir stuff. We're talking about Bahamian seasonings. We're talking about bush medicine. We're talking about teas. We're talking about even taking the ice cream and having a Bahamian spin on it so that you could feel that energy. So for us, it's about ensuring this every single time. Saturday just happens to be the creme de la creme. And if you're in Porta during that time, it's going to be very exciting. But for us, it's always to ensure that when they touch their feet down at the port, that they understand you're in the Bahamas and you're going to really, really enjoy a Bahamian experience.
Wow. All right, so have the artists been given like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this,
To keep them in line?
Right. No, I mean like you sing the most Bahamian song you could possibly think of.
Rules?
I think
Not so much rules, but like, hey, this is a big opportunity. What you coming with?
I think our artists are professional. I
Right.
don't think they need directing.
Right.
So we let them do what they do. We trust them. We've handpicked and we know they're going to give a awesome show.
Have they given you any hints as to what we can
I've been
expect?
privy to
Yeah.
practice.
But she can't tell us, and she don't even
You
tell
know.
me. So big vibes is all I suppose
we
is
have
going to happen.
it's going to be nothing short of amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? In essence, we have to come and we have to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
it. You
And
just
one
gotta come.
and one
That's
thing about
it.
Bahamians too, and Bahamian artists, what I love about them is they feed off of energy and they know how to adjust and to move. And I think it's almost like a natural gift for a lot of Bahamian artists that they know how to follow that. So the more energy we have out there, we may really go home at 9:30 in the morning for real. So, it
You
is what it is,
never know
but we're
what's
here
gonna
for a good
happen.
time. And we want Bahamians to, when they walk away from this event, they talk about it for weeks and that they get excited when we do more because more is coming. September, we have our Sofa Sunday is coming. Then we have Eddie Minutes in October.
Oh, yeah.
Things, and we're going to continue to do things in between that. Nassau Cruise Port is the place to be. And we're going to stamp that into the minds of every Bahamian that we possibly can because we are doing the things to make it the place to be.
So last concert I was there for, everybody had their foldable chairs.
Yeah.
I was the only person.
Did you get
but-
yours yet?
Not yet, but with this lineup, I don't think you'll be seated much, right? You're going to be on your feet dancing for most of the
you
day
may
and
need
night.
a little
But you need a
break.
break.
You might need a break?
Mhm.
Okay.
You need
So I
like
need to
some
break.
like intermission.
Get the
So
foldable
Get a chair. Where did I get those
Right.
from anyway?
Yeah.
Y'all have them at the port?
we don't.
We don't.
But some of our friends.
Yeah, definitely within the Nassau. within Nassau.
All right, so we'll talk off air.
I'll give you some.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All right, so remind folks
And
about
make
this.
sure that you purchase too.
Oh, yes, you
Thank
got to
you.
fly Laverne in.
And get
I
the
know-
one
I
that's
know
the
you were
color
going
that
there.
she wants. In
All
short,
of that?
right?
Mhm.
Make sure
Oh,
it's
wow.
branded for her.
Okay. All right, Laverne. You let me know. All right, remind folks of this lineup, this amazing lineup.
So again, we're gonna open up with Blotty and the Pawn Band. Ancient Man, Elon Moxie, Sweet Emily, Shine, Veronica Bishop, Avi, Stilit, Julian Believe, Wendy, all being backed by Shad Colley and the VIPs. And Sky Juice Band is going to take us home.
This is going to be great stuff. Again, this is Saturday coming.
Saturday.
You got to be at Nassau Cruise Port, 4 p.m. until sometime Sunday morning.
Until sometime.
But the show starts at 6 p.m.
No, show starts at 5.
5.
Show starts
Okay,
at 5.
so again, so be there.
Be there.
This is great stuff. Aisha, what will you look like the next time I see you?
It's a surprise night.
Aisha Rowe and Sean Gomez, thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for giving us an update on all this
Always a
stuff.
pleasure.
I know we'll be talking again very soon. Thank
Yes.
you. All right. We're going to take a break and be back with more Morning Blend business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
We tell the sunrise in the evening. We tell the sun high in the morning. We tell the sunrise in the evening. We tell the sun high in the. Cause we party non-stop. We ain't watching no clock. This party in the shower we fun. DJ turn the music up. Bartender fill up my cup. We party all night, all day, every day. Hey, we tell the sunrise in the evening. We tell the sun high in the morning. We tell the sun by in the evening. We tell the sun high in the. Cause we party non-stop. We ain't watching no clock. This party can't done. We ain't finished up but we fun. DJ turn the music up. Bartender fill up my cup. We party all night, all day, every day. Hey. Turn up the bass.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
Looking for great device deals and offers this summer? Look no further. Alive has special discounts on the latest smartphones, Ring devices, and accessories. Plus, as an Alive customer, you can expect exclusive Get Extra offers and rewards, which means even more value for your money. We're talking more data, prizes, and surprises. Upgrade with us and experience the perfect summer with Alive in store or at bealive.com/deal.
Your health just got brighter with Lamp Insured. Sign up for Doctors Hospital's Lamp Insurance Supplement Plan and enjoy copay waivers and complete access with no upfront ER or inpatient collections. Only $30 per month. Visit doctorshosp.com/lamp to sign up or contact 2009. That's 242-822-1009. Your journey to affordable and worry-free healthcare begins now.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, the Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center, through its Women Entrepreneurs Initiative, awarding 83 women entrepreneurs a collective $604,000 in grant funding to grow their businesses. The grant awards went up to as far as $10,000 in funding for businesses that ran the gamut of offerings from sweet treats to healthcare. SBDC Deputy Executive Director Felice Bethel says that 34 of the 83 recipients were from Grand Bahama and the Family Islands. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. Super Value President Deborah Simonet says the food store chain's customers don't have to, quote, lick and stick anymore, as it's phasing out paper stamps, opting for a digital point system instead. Simonet telling Guardian Business that the shift to a digital point system is a move that can save the grocery chain a lot of money. Super Value's largest competitor is the Rewards program, where shoppers earn points for shopping with them. Customers are given a smart card that can be attached to a keychain and their names entered into a database. Super Value's new digital point system asks that customers enter their information into a database, but then they are directed to an app that can be downloaded to the consumer's phone. Island Administrator for Harbor Island, Stephen Wilson, telling Guardian Business that while he understands the frustration of residents in regard to the inconsistent electricity on the island, he believes the matter will be solved shortly by BPL. Wilson, responding to recent protests on Harbor Island over electricity and water shortages. On Monday, angry residents took to the streets of Dunmore Town on their way to BPL's power station to protest the prolonged utility outages. Wilson says they have to find the best solution to resolve the problems, but he says they're working to have the matters resolved soon. Overseas, the U.S. Biden administration says that drug price negotiations will knock hundreds of dollars, in some cases thousands, off the list prices of 10 of Medicare's most popular and consistent drugs or costly drugs. The discounts agreed to after months of negotiations with drug manufacturers range between 38 and 79% on the medication's list price, which is the cost of medication before discounts or rebates are applied, not the price people actually pay for prescriptions. Medicare spent $50 billion covering the drugs last year, and taxpayers are expected to save $6 billion on the new prices, which do not go into effect until 2026. Older adults could save as much as $1.5 billion in total on their medications in out-of-pocket costs. Administration officials releasing few details about how they arrived at those calculations. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits fell last week. The market remains resilient in the face of high interest rates. Jobless claims dropped by 7,000 to 227,000 last week, according to a Labor Department report today. The 4-week average of claims, which smooths out week to week ups and downs, fell by 4,500 to 236,500. And Americans stepped up their spending at retailers last month by the most in a year and a half, easing concerns that the economy might be weakening under the pressure of higher prices and elevated interest rates. The Commerce Department reporting today that retail sales in the U.S. jumped 1% from June to July, the biggest such increase since January 2023, after having declined slightly the previous month. Auto dealers, electronics and appliance stores and grocery stores all reported strong gains. The July retail sales data provided reassurance that the U.S. economy, while slowing under the pressure of high interest rates, remains resilient. It showed that the U.S. consumers, the primary driver of economic growth, are still willing to spend. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressing concern over the unrest that led to a change of government in neighboring Bangladesh and the attacks on Hindus and other minorities there. Modi addressing his nation from New Delhi's 17th century Mughal-era Red Fort on its 78th Independence Day. He's assuring that Bangladesh that India would continue to support it in developing its economy. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, fled to India on August 5th after weeks of violent protests that prompted her ouster. She's likely to stay in New Delhi until she decides where she will asylum. An interim government led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus has assumed power in Bangladesh and is expected to organize fresh elections. China's Commerce Ministry announcing today that it will restrict exports of a mineral used in a wide range of products from batteries to weapons. Export controls will be placed on antimony starting September 15th to safeguard China's security and interests and fulfill its international non-proliferation obligations. Anyone wishing to export the mineral in various forms will have to apply for a license. It wasn't immediately clear to what extent exports would be blocked, though the non-proliferation wording suggests it could include weapons-related uses. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday. Your market movers, AML Foods Limited moving 3,000 shares, closing at 615, up 15 cents. FAMGuard moving 1,259 shares, down 2 cents to $2.08. Bahamas Waste moving 100, unchanged at $11.06. Commonwealth Brewery moving 1,000, unchanged at $12. FAMGuard moving 1,000, closing at $4.96, unchanged. Finco moving 1,100, unchanged at $14.50. Consolidated Water up 3 cents, closing at $5.33. Emira Incorporated up 11 cents, closing at $8.88. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,943.02, up 0.20. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Laverne, we got a whole lot of text messages from our earlier conversation about the Grand Bahama Port Authority, what's happening there, the disputes with the government, and what the future of Grand Bahama should look like. You want to get into this?
You promise not to beat me up?
Oh, well, I mean, if what we were doing earlier is
right, I can't get a promise out of you.
So I'm going to do
things onto
I
it.
will do what we were doing before. Now, if that is beating you up, then boy. So here we go. Do we read this? I sent this to you, but I didn't read it. Now, Dwight, ease up on Laverne. All I did was ask her why they don't want better for themselves. That's beating you up? I don't understand. Why don't you want better for yourselves in Grand Bahama? That's what I asked. That's beating you up. Okay. Ease up on Laverne.
Just to be clear, we do want better.
You sure?
Yeah. We may not all be able to clearly articulate exactly what that looks like, but make no mistake. Grand Bahamians want better for themselves.
Okay.
We may not all agree on what that looks like, but absolutely 100%.
But of also
better.
Also of concerns that you don't even have any idea what that. I find that because I know what better.
Some may not.
Some may not. You just want somebody to come in, someone to come in and make it better.
Some may not know. Some may have very clear ideas, and for them it may not be municipal government.
Ha. Okay.
That's a fact, right? Some may not be on board.
Just a
Some
dictator.
may be on board.
Communist
saying
dictator,
municipal
socialist system. Yeah, maybe that's it. That would be better.
But the commonality is that we all want better. Nobody is here in Grand Bahama saying, this is the life. I'm good.
Okay. All right. So let me continue with the text.
Let's not mistake that.
Ease up on Laverne. You know it's more than just wanting things for it to get better, and your energy for people to rise up and fight for local government is often very tame. What? When it comes to protesting against corruption or anything else. Oh, which one? Oh, you say, I'm confused with what you're saying. Anyway, so just how you want everyone to rise up for local government so bad, we all feel the same for corruption and everything else. And until everyone feels the same as you say about local government and all thinking ideas, forward all thinking ideas. Oh, well, so some things are missing. But anyway, Texter, I'm not sure what you're saying. But anyway, I can guarantee you that there will always be, no matter what system we have, there will always be corruption. That's always going to be a problem. But you just have to know how to deal with it. And what we do in this country is we just turn you away and say, don't do it again. Right? That doesn't make any sense. So if we're really serious about that, we know what we need to do. But we can stand up for everything. We don't have to do one at a time. It doesn't have to be like that. But anyway. All right. This text here. This is why Grand Bahama needs a Michael Pinter understands the Grand Bahama model. Someone who's read and understands the Hospital Creek Agreement. Believe me, this is the way forward for Grand Bahama. But you see, that's the problem, though. We've had, what was that? The last administration, Laverne, where all the seats were held by FNMs? And yet.
That could be correct.
And yet.
And yet here we are.
So, are you sure this is what that means? I don't know if that's what that means. But then again, that's a different thing.
That a Michael Pintard-led administration would look different.
Okay. Well, it also could mean that it's not just up to the MPs. And or that you need MPs who are going to legislate what needs to be done to make the changes that we need to see. Make sure that is what's happening in the House and the Senate.
Well, based on what he said, he says that they are open to having those types of discussions. So.
Yeah. Okay. This texter says, just look at 8 Mile Rock, West End, and High Rock of Grand Bahama. The government is not a good example. Yeah, we totally agree. Central government is not good.
Yeah.
Central government is not good for Nassau.
Right.
It's not good for Nassau. What's happening? Yeah. This person says here, Michael Pintard's not answering your questions. He's not addressing Dwight's point about alternative options. Enough of the rhetoric. He is politicizing these issues just as much as the PLP is. And as a young voter, I would like to hear what options his party will explore beyond what we have already. All right. So, yeah, I mean, he said that they're open to stuff, but some people want to hear what you suggest or recommend.
What exactly
are
the options?
What we think should happen.
Does your party
exactly.
as viable options rather than just saying options? Are you discussing municipal government in terms of what Dwight talks about? What are you seeing as the way forward? Is this going to be of the port licensees? Because according to the CA, the licensees are supposed to be taking an active role. So he did indicate that he was available next week.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what he said. And we've been meaning to have this conversation with him for a while.
Have this conversation and allow him to go more in depth.
Yeah. And he did say that they're open to expanding. See, I don't like that word, expanding, which means some people elected while some are appointed.
Well, let's not make any assumptions. Let him tell us exactly what it is he means by that.
Okay. Dwight,
it does sound like a mixture, but again, let's give him that opportunity.
Let's take this call and then we'll get to the rest of these text messages here. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Laverne. How are you all this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Morning.
Let me give you a good illustration that the shareholders of the Port Authority are not interested in the people of Grand Bahama at this time. Let me explain to you why. After Hurricane Dorian, right? Isn't the port responsible for was responsible for the airport before they sold it and the hospital? Weren't that their responsibility?
I'm not sure about the hospital.
At the hospital and the airport. If you look in the agreement, it says the hospital and the airport and education they were responsible for. Okay? At the end of the day...
Hutchison Whampoa for the airport, right?
The hospital, they were under the provide a hospital.
Never did.
And then the airport, yes, they were responsible for the airport in partnership with
Hutchison.
Hutchison Whampoa.
Exactly. But now, hear me clearly now. Michael Pintard can't open his mouth because at the end of the day, the former administration bought the airport, okay, which the Port Authority and Hutchison Whampoa was responsible for. That's did that make any mathematical sense? And now he's blaming this government why they won't fix the airport. Why did y'all purchase the airport? If the Port Authority wants to be responsible for be able to be the regulators for the power company in Grand Bahama, they were responsible for being the regulators for the airport and the hospital, but they never did their job. I personally advise that Grand Bahamians now, it's time to get out of this agreement because at the end of the day, like you said, Dwight, this is not working, okay? It's not benefiting the Grand Bahamians, especially those who live in Freeport, because Freeport looks like a dump. I must tell you, Freeport doesn't look like the city that we once knew, okay? And if these persons, if the Port Authority was really, really interested in Freeport, they had good infrastructure for many, many years. Now the infrastructure is starting to deteriorate. Even as simple as fixing the roads and knocking down those derelict buildings. You know what they're doing? They're just leaving those derelict buildings there so they can put ordinance on those owners, okay, just to collect free money, okay? There was a case several months ago where the Port Authority were charging people for having derelict properties. And when you look at the road to get to the properties, the road itself was derelict, okay? Anyhow, you guys have a nice day.
Okay.
Thank you.
As they've explained to us several times, it's not as easy just to buildings. They have to get permission, work along with police, the government. It's a whole contrived thing, according to them.
Yeah. We know about that. Here, we'll take this call quickly, and then we'll get to the last of these messages. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Miss LaVoy.
Hi. Good morning.
Poppy. Hi. Is it true? Before I say quickly, what the caller said just now, Dwight. I blind, but I concerned. I'm a Grand Bahamian. I born in 1970 over there in Ryan Memorial, right? So, is it true what he said that Freeport look like a dump now?
I mean,
the question is does it still look from I could see in '89 better than what Nassau is?
Two things can be real. Both can be. Both can be the thing. Both can be.
That maybe you remember it to look, and it is not as clean as it used to be.
But it ain't
I would
about
not
Nassau,
say. No, I would not say
listen, let me get a quick form about you. Go there, LeVoy, you all have to go. I'm listening to the opposition leader this morning, right? Because yesterday they asked you all, I tell you all, they need to say, I like what Shannon Dawes said, that they don't agree with the increase with the light bill, right? But the opposition said that, right? But what they needed to say, knowing that I tell you what Fred say with the, let's care to the election then, they need to say if they agree that if the port owed the Bahamian people $350 million, they would agree to continue whatever civil matter. Because you know when the government changed the other day in 2021, we were in and they stopped the court case. At least they ain't gone further with the court case with the red shop owners, with the free national movements can the court to get increase. So we got to be careful what we vote. We need to know that if we vote for the free national movement, they can fight for the 300. And it didn't get clear this morning when he say that they agree with the agreement with the Port Authority. So I don't know what that means.
We'll try to get him on that if we.
The port saying they don't owe the Bahamian people a penny. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah.
I'll take a.
Thanks a lot. Well, if we have him back next week, we'll try to get that out of him. Thank you. Seconds left. Dwight, if the government will not commit to an MP recall system, do you really think they will sign on to a hybrid of that hybrid in the form of local government? Government appointees do not want anyone to replace them when they are not up to par. This is another reason why local government won't work. None of that, what you're saying, makes any sense. Government appointees do not want anyone to replace them when they are not up to par. Who cares what they want? This is another reason why local government won't work. That is not a reason. I don't know what that is that you're saying, but okay. That and the fact that laws need to be fine-tuned and the mayors of local government and the central government won't agree. Who cares? Refine the laws. What are you afraid of? What is the problem with? What do you all think laws are? They're going to bite you if you try to touch them? What is happening? This is trauma. This is trauma, Bahamian people.
Engraved in stone.
Oh
and
my
they
God!
Cannot be changed.
Okay, well, they're changing laws every time they meet, but do they benefit you? Do they benefit you? Right? Mm-hmm. So please, this is trauma that you all are speaking from. And people have you brainwashed into thinking that everything is so difficult. Oh, the Constitution, we'd have to have an amendment. So what? How many amendments have they had in the U.S. and anywhere else in the world, parts of the world? Come on. If you really want the change.
I think that's the message we need to get out, that this can be done. It's not that anything is so enshrined in law that we cannot ever change it.
And this final text from the same texter before we go. Can you imagine if Minnis had been elected as mayor for a local government and he had to report to Fred Mitchell as a central government figure? Why would he have to do that? Well, for what? Imagine that and you will see why it won't work. I don't know what you're talking about. Report to him for what? What are you talking about? We got to go. So we're going to have to do a regular series on these things. And we're going to, as we did before, Laverne, we're going to bring in people from around the world. We had talked previously to Bahamians who are now living in other countries who are involved in their local government, municipal government systems. We've had professors on from other parts of the world talking about how their city works and how the Prime Minister of Canada has very little to say about what they are doing, unless they're doing something illegal. And they get to make decisions that help their country or their city not be in a position where the residents don't know why they don't have electricity. Immediately they work on those problems. They don't let it linger for years while they're on the back burner, while the central government has to deal with other things. We'll get into this over the next few months. Laverne, thank you for being here this morning. I apologize if I was beating you up in any way, shape, or form.
You were not beating me up. As I said, I was being mindful. I was being cutesy. I was being demure. I know
That's
you
twice you
me
did
to
that.
say that again.
Twice. We got to go. We'll talk soon,
Always
Laverne. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend